Hello there, lovely good evening and welcome to Camnet TV main news today, the 25th of February, the year 2025. Let's take a look at the headlines. Declare KANYAMA floods a national disaster, says KALABA. Do not discredit auditors' report, Transparency International Zambia. 7,073,513 voters registered, says ETZ. International news. At least 9 dead in Botswana floods following record rainfall. In sports, Malawi beats Zambia at home. Join me for these and many more stories after the break.
Get all the latest updates in court news only on Camnet TV. Take you and make you feel the court session through our in-depth coverage of the adjudication process. Get informed that those have been arrested, delayed and denied the police bond or bail victims, persons taking plea, court appointments, verdicts, and administration issues in the judiciary. You can also follow and give us a like on our social media platforms. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
With the Camnet news in detail, I'm Tapelo Joe Smarter. The opposition Citizens First Party has called on Republican President Hakainde Hichilema to declare the ongoing floods in Lusaka, particularly KANYAMA, as a national disaster. Speaking at a media briefing, Citizens First President KALABA emphasized that the floods have displaced numerous families in KANYAMA and pose a significant threat to residents in the area. He noted that the shutdown of electricity is a clear indicator that KANYAMA is in dire state as the floods have compromised essential infrastructure, leaving residents in the dark and with no shelter. He further expressed concern over the contamination of drinking water as flood waters have mixed with sewage, posing serious health risks to residents as waterborne diseases such as cholera and typhoid can easily be contracted. He added that declaring the floods a national disaster would enable government to mobilize donor aid and relief assistance, ensuring that affected victims receive the necessary support in mitigating the risk of further fatalities. Mr. KALABA also urged the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit, DMMU, to expedite its response efforts to provide timely assistance to those impacted. Chana Mwango has details in this report.
Lusaka has experienced severe flooding over the past few days following heavy downpours over the weekend and yesterday. The flooding have significantly disrupted daily life, submerging houses in various compounds and leaving many residents without shelter. Among the hardest hit areas in KANYAMA compound, where households have been severely affected, forcing residents to evacuate, homes are no longer habitable. In response to the crisis, power utility company ZESCO shut down electricity in the area to prevent casualties, citing risk of electrocution and short circuits due to the extensive flooding. And on February 25, 2025, the opposition Citizens First Party called on Republican President Hakainde Hichilema to declare the KANYAMA floods a national disaster. Speaking at a press briefing, Citizens First President Harry KALABA emphasized that floods have created a serious health hazard as contaminated water has mixed with sewage, posing a severe risk to residents.
Personally, I live near KANYAMA, and my heart bleeds when I see the devastation these floods have wreaked on the vulnerable community, where some of the poorest of the poor in Lusaka, or indeed Zambia, reside. Houses have been washed out, massive property has been damaged, and above all, electricity or
Mr. KALABA toured the affected areas and donated chlorine to a local school to help mitigate the spread of waterborne diseases.
As citizens first, to see what is happening here. Secondly, we want to, maybe through your school, we donate some chlorinated, some chlorine, so that these people can be put in their waters. They come to school and It's very important because from this situation now I want to and there will be a lot of
He further urged the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit to accelerate relief efforts in the area, stressing the urgent need for immediate assistance to affected families.
We ask the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit, DMMU, to expedite relief work, not only in KANYAMA, but countrywide, where the floods have wreaked havoc.
Barbara Mlenga for Camnet News.
Barbara Mlenga with that report. Now, moving on, in response to the crisis, DMMU, in collaboration with the Zambia National Service, Zambia Army, and Lusaka City Council, has deployed a water pumping machine and implemented additional measures to manage the situation. DMMU National Coordinator Norman Paku has urged KANYAMA residents to cooperate in efforts to mitigate flooding by avoiding indiscriminate waste disposal, particularly in drainage systems. During a visit to assess the situation, Mr. Chipaku emphasized the need to clear blocked drainages.
So let's remove those where my community, my councillors, my DC, my PS, so that we don't blame each other. If the Pangika, up to March, so let's find a way to get them back. When the report comes to one of the friends of school, we'll find the report and get up to that's our job. Okay? So, soon the kind of Munyumba manager. So, if there's a problem, Lapanga solve problem, and I'm just saying temporal accommodation. Come a penponi, tukapanga open my drainages. Tukasegula ma drainages, osa yamba kutenga vijavijua, vitofaka, mutosapa. They're not solving the problem. Imagine now, start manga at wrong places. But tina mavutu, leo muna mavutu, nani mavutu, seo mazambia, let's find a way to help each other. Because the sea if it's not panga, the bomb in a panga. Mistakes it's not panga. My drainages not good.
The Ministry of Fisheries and Livestock has called on the public not to consume fish from contaminated water bodies as it is not safe for human consumption following recent water pollution cases. Speaking in an interview, the Principal Public Relations Officer for Ministry of Fisheries and Livestock, Benny Munyama, says that the ministry has organized a team from the National Aquatic Center and other partners to carry out assessments in the affected areas. Mr. Munyama adds that a team from the Public Health Department has collected fish and water samples for further analysis. He has therefore urged the public to take precautions buying fish and livestock products and they should ensure to purchase from registered retail outlets.
Following the recent water pollution cases in Kitwe and other areas on the Copper Belt, we strongly advise the public not to consume fish from these contaminated water bodies because they are not safe for human consumption, considering that they've been polluted with acidic effluent. As a ministry, we have dispatched the National Aquatic Research Center to also partner with other relevant authorities in the affected areas to carry out assessments. So right now, the team from the Public Health Department has also collected the fish and the water samples for further analysis. We wish to urge the public to take precaution when buying fish and livestock products. May they ensure that they buy their fish and livestock products from registered retail outlets so that we reduce the cases of spread of this contaminated fish. Then we are aware as a ministry that some unscrupulous people may take advantage of this situation to start selling this contaminated fish to unsuspecting individuals. Therefore, we urge the communities to ensure that they should be on the lookout, and also they should report cases of suspected fish contamination, and also any suspicious livestock illnesses. Report them to the nearest local authorities.
Transparency International Zambia, TIZ, says it is concerning that certain public officials, including controlling officers, have decided to discredit the Auditor General's report instead of addressing the issues raised in the report. TIZ urges all controlling officers to focus on addressing financial irregularities highlighted in the report rather than attacking the Auditor General's office. TIZ Executive Director Maurice Nyambe says the recent statement by the Permanent Secretary for the Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprises, SMEs, suggesting that the Auditor General's report on parastatals is inaccurate, risk eroding the credibility of the Office of the Auditor General. He says the Auditor General plays a pivotal role in ensuring transparency, accountability, and prudent use of public resources. TIZ has since urged all controlling officers to focus on addressing the financial irregularities highlighted in the report rather than attacking the Auditor General's report. Mr. Nyambe adds that TIZ will analyze the Auditor General's recent report on parastatal bodies and issue a detailed statement in due course.
At TIZ, we have noted with a very grave concern the assertions attributed very recently to the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprises, where he was saying that the recent report on parastatals by the Auditor General is inaccurate. Now, our concern stems from the fact that such assertions, if left have the potential to erode the credibility of the officer of the Auditor General. Now, as we all know, the Office of the Auditor General is a very important entity when it comes to, promoting the prudent management of public resources. The mandate of the Office of the Auditor General is drawn, of course, from Article 250 of the Constitution, and in executing that very important mandate that they have, the Office of the Auditor General follows very well established and rigorous audit processes when conducting their audits, including this one on parastatals that we are talking about. Now, of course, the audit process also includes a direct engagement with controlling officers through the submission of a management letter once financial irregularities are identified. So controlling officers are given an opportunity to respond and to provide necessary clarifications and supporting evidence for their responses. So if the evidence provided sufficiently resolves the irregularities that have been noted, then those issues are not included in the final report. So the issues that do get included in the published report are those for which sufficient evidence was not provided, or the responses were probably not satisfactory. So we find it very concerning that public officials, including controlling officers.
Acting Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development, Frank Tayali, says government is on course to complete the construction of Mununga Police Station in Chiengi District of Luapula Province. Mr. Tayali says the project is scheduled for completion in the second quarter of 2025 and will be done at a total cost of 5.5 million kwacha. He attributed delays in the completion of the to the termination of the previous contract, but assured that the procurement process has since been finalized, allowing construction to resume. He further stated that the remaining works will be completed within a 5-month time frame. The minister made these remarks in response to a question raised by Chiengi Member of Parliament, Given Katuta.
For Chiengi, Ms. Katuta, to ask the Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development a 3-part question. A, when the construction of Mununga Police Station in Chiengi District will be completed. B, what the cause of the delay in completing the project is, and lastly, in Part C, Madam Speaker, what the time frame for the completion of the project is. In response to the Honourable Member's question, Madam Speaker, we wish to respond to this August House as follows. A, the construction of Mununga Police Station in Chengu District will be completed by the second quarter of 2025. B, the cause of the delay in completing the project on time was due to the termination of the previous contract. C, the time frame for the completion of the outstanding is 5 months. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Government has clarified that it has not banned the importation of fertilizers, contrary to the recent reports. Minister of Agriculture Principal Public Relations Officer Balewa Zulu explains that Minister Ruben stated that government has not stopped any citizen or company from importing fertilizer during a parliamentary session on February 13th, 2025. He says the minister highlighted that Zambia has achieved self-sufficiency in producing D-compound fertilizer thanks to the increased local manufacturing capacity and investments such as United Capital Fertilizer, which means that the country can now produce the fertilizer needed for the 2025-2026 farming season, reducing reliance on imports. Mr. Zulu says private entities are still free to import fertilizer that meets the country's standards as per existing regulations. He says government remains committed in ensuring affordable access to fertilizer for farmers, supporting initiatives that boost agricultural productivity, food security and economic growth, which aligns with the President's vision of delivering affordable fertilizer to the people.
During a follow-up question, the minister clarified that Zambia has now attained self-sufficiency in the production of fertilizer, specifically D-compound. This achievement is as a result of increased local manufacturing capacity, particularly through investments such as United Capital Fertilizer, with Zambia now capable of producing all required fertilizer for the 2025-2026 farming season. Reliance on imports is expected to decline significantly. Therefore, the government has not imposed any ban or restriction on private entities that wish to import fertilizer which meet the nation's standards. Any person is free to import fertilizer under existing regulations. Therefore, the government remains committed to ensuring that there is stable and affordable access to fertilizer for farmers and will continue to support initiatives that enhance agricultural productivity, food security, and economic growth in line with President Hakainde Hichilema's vision of delivering for the people.
The Ministry of Mines and Minerals Development has reported a significant increase in the issuance of mining licenses in 2023, with a total of 1,185 licenses granted compared to 32 in 2022. Minister of Mines and Minerals Development, Paul Kabuswe, stated that 701 licenses were issued to small-scale miners in 2023, a notable rise from the 24 issued in 2022. Mr. Kabuswe noted that 484 licenses were awarded to large-scale miners, up from just 8 in the previous year. He emphasized that government has also implemented measures to support small-scale miners through formalization programs, encouraging the formation of cooperatives and the issuance of artisanal mining licenses. He added that government is also facilitating linkages between artisanal miners and various partners to enhance access to capital, improve productivity, and provide essential equipment. The minister made these remarks in Parliament in response to a question raised by Kamfinsa Member of Parliament, Christopher Kangombe.
What measures the government has put in place to support the growth of small-scale miners who received their licenses during the same period? Government's response is as follows, Madam Speaker. 32 mining licenses were issued in 2022 and 1,185 mining licenses in 2023. B, out of the licenses that were issued, the categories are as follows. 1, small-scale mining licenses, 24 in 2022 and 701 in 2023. Number 2, large-scale mining licenses, 8 in 2022 and 484 in 2023. Madam Speaker, on C, government has put in place measures to support small-scale miners through the following. Number 1, formalization of artisanal and small-scale mining operations to promote participation of local people in the exploitation of mineral resources in their respective areas. Government, through the ministry, is undertaking a formalization program aimed at formation of cooperatives and awarding of artisanal mining licenses. Number 2, facilitate access to capital, equipment and markets. Further, government is providing support to the artisanal miners by ensuring linkages to various partners for them to access capital to increase their productivity, as well as provision of basic mining equipment, ensuring access to markets for their mineral commodities.
We now go to Election House, where the Electoral Commission of Zambia, ECZ, has officially certified the second certification register of voters under the continuous voters registration exercise. ECZ Chief Electoral Officer Brown Kasaro says 36,651 voters have been added to the register, bringing the total number of registered voters in Zambia to 7,073,513. Speaking during a press briefing held today, Mr. Kasaro says the continuous voter registration exercise had taken place across 30 districts nationwide. He explains that from January 2023 to February 2024, a provisional total of 37,720 individuals were registered, but after a thorough duplication process, 1,042 duplicate records and 27 deceased voters were removed from the system. Mr. Kasaro also emphasized inclusivity in the voter registration process, announcing that 114 individuals with disabilities had been incorporated into the updated register, which includes 39 individuals who are blind, 10 wheelchair users, 42 who are deaf, and 23 who use crutches.
The Commission is conducting continuous registration of voters in 30 districts, namely Kawe, Mkushi, Mungwa, Central Province, Ndola, Kitwe, and Chingola in the Cooperative Province, Chipata, Lundazi, and Petauke in Eastern Province, Mansa and Chelenge and Samcha in Lokula Province, Lusaka, Chongwe, and Kafiwe in Lusaka Province, Sinsani, Nakonde, and Mpika in Chinga Province, Kasama, Mbala, and Prokoso in Northern Province, Solwezi, and Kabombo in Northwestern Province, Choma, Livingston, and Monte in Southern Province, and indeed Mongo, Sesheke, and Kaoma in Western Province. Ladies and gentlemen, you may recall that the Commission commenced continuous registration of voters on 1st June 2022 in the 10 provincial centers. For this period, the Commission certified the register of voters in February 2024 and added 13,363 voters to the register of voters. From January 2023 to February 2024, a provisional total of 37,702 individuals were registered as voters. In addition, 18 appeals were sustained by the Commission, bringing the total provisional number of registered voters to 37,720. This data was consolidated and the Commission conducted a duplication that culminated into the provisional register of voters. Thereafter, in accordance with the law, the Commission subjected this provisional register of voters to inspection by registered voters and stakeholders. The inspection took place in 20 registration centers across the country.
Government has completed the launch of the 116 Integrated Development Plans, IDBs, to support decentralized development in the country. Speaking on behalf of Local Government Minister Garin Kombo, Deputy Permanent Secretary Dr. Lewis Mwape says the plans will drive infrastructure growth, better services and economic progress. Dr. Mwape has urged local authorities, traditional leaders, civil society and the private sector to work together in turning these plans into action. He asked that the government has reaffirmed its commitment to decentralization and sustainable development, of which plans will guide local development, improving services and economic opportunities nationwide.
From the province, we are going to ensure that we monitor the implementation of all IDPs. We are interested in the monitoring and evaluation frameworks that is result-based, result-oriented. Many times these documents remain a pipe dream. So it's a call to all our local authorities in the province to ensure that we create participatory monitoring frameworks that should accompany the implementation of IDPs. Participatory in the sense that citizens must be part and parcel of monitoring the development, monitoring the process of implementation of the development planning. That's why we want to ensure that guidelines are citizen-centered. Not only the council management are going out in the field to monitor the projects. I want to call upon all the citizens at community level to ensure that projects that are implemented in your communities are monitored by yourselves, so that we assure and ensure that quality, cost aspect, and the time aspect of the projects that are implemented in your communities are adhered to.
The National Water Supply and Sanitation Council says it is exploring various alternatives to implement water harvesting in parts of the country. Speaking during a media engagement, NWASCO Director Kelvin Chitumbo says water harvesting will help direct water to particular areas, unlike ending up in the ocean. Mr. Chitumbo says as the country continues to grapple with the effects of El Nino drought, water harvesting will reduce such effects on water supply. He says in response to a drought, the council has rehabilitated 6 dams and 770 are being maintained in 8 provinces.
Development and management, we have to maintain dams. 770 dams were identified that needed to be maintained in 8 provinces. We had to rehabilitate some dams, 6 which were identified. We had to look at the feasibility studies to try and ensure we plan for about those 14 dams, and also do feasibility studies, look at construction of 16 ongoing dams, but also construction of some of the dams that needed to be rehabilitated. So those are the budgets. Then we had a supplementary budget as well, and the resources that we have and where these interventions are located. Sure, we benefit from these rains. So I'd mentioned that as part of harvesting the water, we had to maintain the dams, so that as water, is finding itself in these rivers, at least the dams are able to contain the water and we're able to use. We're also rehabilitating some of the dams that were washed away, so that we'll be able to hold the water and provide this for our use. But we've also done some new dams to be able to capture the water.
Development expert Dr. Charity Musamba has called on the Ministry of Labour to ensure that the country takes ownership of employment and job creation as a nation to secure jobs for its people. Dr. Charity says the country should be able to own employees and job opportunities for its citizens, so that even when investors decide to leave, local workers are not left in poverty. She has therefore urged the government not only to consider those affected by the U.S. government policy, but also prioritize individuals who have been unemployed for a long period of time. She has also called on the government to implement a strong, comprehensive and practical job creation strategy that will foster sustainable employment opportunities and economic stability for all citizens.
Call upon the Minister of Labour, Honorable Tamba, is to be courageous, stand up, call Zambians and say, the lesson we're learning from here is that we should own employment, job creation as a nation, and secure jobs for our people, so that if other people change their minds because they're from outside, we don't throw our own brothers and sisters in poverty overnight. So in short, I am saying, please, let's not take this case of USAID casualties as the only case we are facing. Let us add it to the numerous number of people that have been languishing in jobless situations until today, build a comprehensive picture, and then present it to our leaders and say, what these people are beginning to go through, the others, the millions, thousands have been going through this for a long time. So what is our responsibility jointly? In my view, government should put in place a very strong, comprehensive and practical job creation strategy.
We now go to Eastern Province, where Lumezi District Commissioner Lufeyo Ngoma has warned community leaders against frustrating the Cash for Work program. The Cash for Work program is being implemented by satellite committees, ward development committees, and community welfare assistance committees. Speaking during the formation of a satellite committee in Kamimba Ward, Lumezi District Commissioner Lufeyo Ngoma says government wants more people to benefit from the program that is aimed at cushioning hunger. He says there should be no segregation in the implementation of the program.
Ninchitu ya WDC uyanga ni sisa kuti kodi aminisa na ndalama ni uti asana landile ndalama kuti mapepa aende kuja shuka ndalama hizo ziliko kulibanga tenge ngimwe sumuna tenga kodi chaputa nchane kuti ndalama hizi bantu atenga agule chakudya agule matevera agule sopo kuliso mkaido wina ameta peza niru yankula pano kwa chitungulu WDC anaina mkaido yipa na mchosapu tinapita kwa mwanya napeza wa WDC anaina kaido yipa tinachosapu tinapita kuchivande napeza WDC kaido ya wanali nayo ni yakuti aba mene ya sevenzalero aba polemba maina bantu aseveza but popeleka ukanso utatarandile aikapo abale bake Zambia ayo ndiye mavuto amene tingomvera abantu kuti ine sinalandire ndalama koma ntchito na seventh ndiye mkangana pa list yomwe anapita ukanso peza kuti zina yako palibe koma ntchito na seventh pa list papezeka abantu amene sana seventh na ntchito komanso wina WDC anali ni khalidwe yakuti akalemba abantu mafoni namba ikakoba bale bake nga kaidu abwiyo sono nga ngezo mwezi naruchitika kuno izo inesini rufuna ndipo boma nga tuishitatere ni mlandu tientuone.
Optica Eye Services has launched free eye screen services to members of the public in Lusaka. Speaking at the opening of the new store at Arcades this morning, Optica Chief Executive Officer Raghav Modigio says the company aims at creating affordable, specialized eye care for both privileged and underprivileged. Mr. Modigio says Optica has tailor-made eye care to suit the Zambia market at affordable rates. He has also urged members of the public to screen their eyes at least twice a year.
It has been very clear. One is to obviously provide eye care testing services with the latest eye testing equipment and qualified optometrists. Second is offering high products at affordable prices, and the third being at a great customer experience which is equal to anywhere in the world. We obviously realized when we came here that there is a lot of opportunity and the options are very limited in the market, or they are very highly expensive, and the common man cannot even afford a pair of glasses. Hence, for Zambia we have optical frames, which is the frame alone, starting from Kwacha 240 only. And then one can get a full pair of spectacles, which is framed with lenses, clear lenses, from prices Kwacha 490. And the important point here being, at these prices as well, all these products come with a 1-year warranty against manufacturing defect. So we stand by the quality that we bring in. You will also notice in our store when you come in that we are very transparent. So every product has a barcode and a price tag on it. This is very important because if I use an analogy, if you go to a ShopRite supermarket and you pick up a product but there's no price, and when you reach the cashier, the price gets decided based on how you are dressed or your mode of payment. You won't like that. And at Optica you don't face that, because every product has a barcode and a price tag on it. And we have one price countrywide, irrespective of mode of payment. You can pay cash, credit card, Momo Pay, Airtel Money, or even insurance. What price you see is the price of the product you pay. We also have our own house brands, which are custom designs for Africa. The African face and the nose structure is different to the European structure, but most of the design brands are made from Europe. So we get our own product designed for the African face.
From Lusaka's shopping mall, we now go to Western Province, where province newly elected radio champion chairperson Progress Lubinda has called on parents in Western Province to encourage their children to take part in radio and television programs. It came to light when Western Province Radio Champions held its election to elect the new committees in championing good governance through radio and television programs. Mr. Lubinda says that most children have turned into junkies due to lack of parental guidance, but can participate in productive activities such as radio. He is appealing to the government and all stakeholders for support as they carry out sensitization across the province. Meanwhile, Western Province Radio Champions Deputy Chairperson Camnet emphasized the importance for children to participate in radio and television programming as a way to reduce street vending. Kabila has more in the following report.
Western Province Radio Champions held its 2025 election to usher in the new executive with a call for support in order for them to carry out sensitization and educate young ones from indulging in bad vices. The newly elected Radio Champion chairperson, Progress Rubinda, emphasized on the importance of maintaining peace and unity among people in the province. He further said the high number of junkies in the province, hence there is need for concerted effort from all stakeholders.
Bama janki se baikeza hulumana sina hamu bona kuli batu hasana ni wiketo ikaho aluye mifaka pakatengoka kabatakulwanisa kuli wiketo kuli bajanki batu baba sebu janki batahemba butu ili kuli batu baikete hande kapa ndibona baikute kulukuluha mwana ba habaeza bujanki kikuli mwendi amana misebezi kwa bapatehera kapa habana moma bakona kwezeza mo kono chwale takululukupane lulute bashemi ni bana babasaba ipeti kuli kimajanki nakuba ni wiketu chero musebezi wakatengoka kikulwanisa kuli ubujanki bwafera.
And Western Province Radio Vice Chairperson Camnet echoed similar concerns, stating that most children have no time to listen to some programs being aired on both radio and television, as they spend most of their time in the streets.
Sikwatase sisakupa hape ne muso ulikono kusitusa kamwino bwa masheleni bakulu kono kuzwela pili sikwatase mane ni mwalizila kakulunga hule butata nikuwana ndivyo kuswe kule banana kibona baba tisa uzwelo pili manaha banana kibona samakandi banana neka bahande kuli mwanana ni mwanana mane abe ni kolo akone kufaneha kwali wele significa mbalifi kapa mane kwali wele sema swaniso kuli mwanana ni mwanana akone kufaneha asikaye mbuluka mwalitaba zali fasi kono.
Meanwhile, other members spoken to are Paxina Nayoto, Deputy Transport Manager, and Bruce Kahiru, Publicity Secretary.
Banana baba hola kashenu kona bukamuso alususweze ni banana kuli bakone kwambola fa radio kakuli watasama champion partisan alweli mali politics banana mbaruta kwambola fa radio banana bakakuna la banana babamu mibakazi ba diswanero zabona
bayemeli baruna haiba balusutera nuna halu basuterera kuliko ne kuswalisana ni kubereka hande mataba yalizo za bulozi abanana bali abakute balu joine mali kwatazalu na mo kulilwa kone kwitutabu kamuso wabona kulilwa upiro wabona bachwa zira zabona likake nachwa kufita kulilukene mali nzira kapalusiye bana baluna bakena mali nzira zesizona hande.
Mutsebo Kabira, Camnet News in Mungo District, Western Province.
And that particular report from Western Province takes us to our first set of commercials. But do join us for international and sports news when we come back. Do stay tuned.
The latest updates in court news only on Camnet TV. We take you and make you feel part of the court sessions through our in-depth coverage of the adjudication